All right, so I want to start off with each of you talking a little bit about yourself and what you do, and we can start with you, Ebony.
Okay, my name is Ebony Jameson. I am a content creator under the social media handle Brown Skin Beautiful. So I do a lot of beauty, lifestyle, fashion. Now more so migrating to kids because I have 2 kids, so I post about them a lot. I do that as from the social media aspect, and I work full time as a risk manager in the realm of finance in my field.
And Dr. King.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us here.
Thanks for coming.
I'm Dr. Kiara King. I'm actually, like, my daytime job, I'm a board certified OB-GYN. So you're probably like, what is she doing here? But when I was on kind of an extended maternity leave about 3 years ago, I started blogging probably about a year into that journey. So I do like fashion, lifestyle, and beauty content, and I'm under the social media handle at Dr. Kiara King.
Hi, my name is Elaine Rau. I'm the founder of LadyBossBlogger.com. I'm a full-time blogger. It's a blog about female entrepreneurs and how to start, grow, and scale your own business. And all the content is free, but all the content is sponsored, but it's all free for the public. So that's how it operates.
So let me tell you why I picked these young ladies. They are beasts at getting sponsorships, and the blogging game is so saturated at times, but they each have cornered a market and they know how to do great collaborations and partnerships with companies. So I wanted to talk to them about that and how you go from each of them full-time jobs. You are now doing Lady Boss Blogger 100%, but you started off working while doing it and then transitioned, am I right?
No, I was actually overseas.
Okay, you were overseas. Oh yeah, because you traveled and went overseas and then started doing it, because I did read that. But those types of things that translated into starting the blog and then like getting sponsorships. So tell me about who your first sponsor was. And I can talk to you since you started overseas. Tell us about that journey and who your first sponsor was.
So I was originally in the wedding industry. I was the national wedding sales manager for a global company that I helped take global, and basically ran, all of America. And then basically one day I asked my boss one day my fiance calls me and tells me that his brother had just been murdered. And I asked my boss if I could go see him, and he said no. So I quit. Long story short, moved overseas and realized that I don't have a job, I don't have any way of income, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I started a blog with my last morsels of money. I just recently looked it up. It was $12.18 and bought my very first blog called LadyBossBlogger, and basically wanted to learn about how to become a lady boss and how to become a blogger. So I started interviewing people, and a weekend, and I was like, I realized I had to make money somehow, so I was wondering if people would pay me for them to get featured on my site. And so I reached out to 100 people, 10 people got back to me, and 1 person paid me my first $5 entrepreneurial dollars ever. Yes, my first sponsor. Her name was Joelle Tremblay, and she was, her slogan was, failure is not an option. And I took that as a sign from God, and I was like, this is it. And I just ran with it.
And how many followers do you have now?
120,000.
Followers on social media. So
in general, yeah.
Yes, across social media, 120,000 followers, and the way you built that from scratch is amazing. Dr. King, how about you? What was your first sponsorship like, and who was it? Because it's not always a company, like you just stated. Who was it?
No, it's actually kind of funny. So as I said, I'm an OB-GYN, and I probably more recently have just started connecting with sponsors and partners, and I was like, what do I use? Like what can I feature that I actually use, not something that, it's gonna be kind of, purposeless for me. And so I do like C-sections and hysterectomies and stuff like that. And I was like, I need some compression socks. I know that sounds really funny, but I was like, what is something that I could actually use? And this was a while back, and so I reached out to a brand called Sockwell. So they make compression hose for like the medical professionals, for nurses, for doctors, actually runners wear them as well. But I was like, what is something I actually need? And I was like all excited. I was like, yay, I'm collaborating with this brand. But that was one of the first ones. That was like probably one of the first ones that I've had.
And what did that look like? What was the collaboration? Did they give you items?
So it was basically an exchange, product exchange,
Okay.
For content.
Okay.
So they sent me several items of product, and then I posted, and they actually featured me on their website as well, with like links to my website and things like that.
So it was a mutual exchange, mutual benefit.
These are awesome. So it really helped. People were very engaged with those posts, because again, for the people that are following me that are in the medical profession, like it's something that they actually like literally use, because nobody wants to have varicose veins because they've been operating for 5 hours all day. So
perfect. And you, Ebony, your first sponsor, first sponsorship, first collaboration that you can remember?
So I originally started in the realm of natural hair care. So I started on YouTube, and then that's a lot of work. So I started migrating over to like Instagram and then the blog, and I still keep all that up. But the first one I had was, I believe, Eden Body Works, and I still actually have a relationship with them now. And that relationship started with, it was a, product for posts, and then over time, I definitely got more followers after working with Eden Body Works, and then over time we built a relationship, so I still work with them to this day. But yeah, that was my first one. It was a natural hair care.
Yep. And so all of you have spoken to something that you should take into consideration. What is it that you use? What is an item that you actually use? It's okay to get a sponsorship, but if you're not going to use it, and people come to you and say, hey, what do you feel about that? How do you like those compression holes? And it's like, what? I hear what? Because you
wear them like I do.
Yes, you actually wear them, you actually need them, and you can speak to the benefits of the product. Being able to speak to the benefit of that product and not just say, because I can just talk about Eden Body Works as a layperson and say, oh, it's a great hair care company. But what does it do for your type of hair? Right. What can it do for you? So think about that as you pursue sponsorships. Don't just grab at things. You might have to say no to things. And let's talk about that. What's something you said no to? Do you have anything in mind that you said no to that could have been a great opportunity for you, but
a lot of companies reach out, because I am a woman-centric brand. A lot of companies do reach out to me of feminine products. However, even though that is relative to my demographic, it isn't what I blog about. So I blog about business, strategies and the techniques of what you can use. So definitely having a brand, when they recognize and they know what it is that you actually blog about, that's really helpful. But also a lot of casinos and gambling sites also reach out to me, and that's a definite no. So, yeah.
Yeah. Either of you have something that you said no to because it didn't fit with your brand? And also think about how did you maintain relationships with companies like Eden Body Works, or if you still have a relationship with the compression hose company, how do you maintain that?
I guess as far as brands that I haven't worked with, I don't want to like name drop folks,
Yeah.
but like teeth whitening ones. Now granted, part of beauty, teeth whitening is important, but it wasn't a good fit. I mean, there's been several companies. I mean, I've had like Ritz Cracker Rico. Like, come on now. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna make Ritz crackers into beauty, so stop. No. Right. So yeah, I mean, there have been it just wasn't a good fit. And for me, I'm not about to even try to fake the funk on my platform. So anybody that follows me knows I keep it so 100. If I don't like something, I'm not gonna talk about it. I won't bash somebody, but I'm simply not going to talk about it. So if I talk about something, it's because I like it. What was the second thing you said, girl? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, something. How do you maintain the relationship with companies like Eden Body Works or anyone else that you've worked with over the years or over more than one, iteration?
I established genuine relationships. So I don't, if I can't see us working together a few years from now, there's no point in me starting that, because I want to create relationships that are going to be, we're going to consistently keep that. There are several hair care brands I've worked with, some which we have to sever those relationships because we just didn't do business the same. But Eden Body Works is amazing. They are just an amazing brand to work with. They're personable. They It's just dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just the brand, it's not just that you know, use that type of product, it's also what the relationship is like.
Correct.
So being sure to maintain relationships with companies that you feel you have a good working relationship with, because the best type of partnership to get is a multi-year. Am I right?
Correct.
You want to have them keep coming back to you.
Yeah.
So like with an event like this, if someone would sponsor this one, I want them to come back and sponsor next month. I want them to sponsor the month after that. I want them to keep working with me. I want to keep working with them. And then, you know, besides product, that's dollars. So if you have sponsorship dollars coming in, you are setting yourself up for continual money as an entrepreneur. So think about that.
So I'm gonna say in the same vein, Ebony and I were actually talking about that earlier, about, you know, you get, you know, tons of emails from different companies, and again, if I look at something, it is not something I'm going to use on a regular basis, or if it's something I actually use, okay, I might be interested, but if it's not, it's not worth the time and the effort to put forward. And you know, sometimes I think if you're just starting out, you may not really know how to weed through all of that, and that's okay, because it's a learning process, and it's a learning curve for you to know, like, you know, how, like, is this a good fit, is it not? But you know, 2, 3 months, 6 months down the line, you'll kind of know, okay, you know what, this type of collaboration doesn't work for me. You'll kind of begin to learn those things. And then really, in terms of staying connected with partnerships, just, again, like Ebony said, maintaining those connections. I really love being able to work with a lot of smaller brands, because you really have a personal connection with, like, the owner of the company. You're not going through, and again, that's not necessarily for everyone, but I found that works well for me. You're not going through layers and layers and layers to try and find, okay, who do I have to talk to? It's like, let me just open up my phone and text so-and-so, you know? And so I found that just, again, literally maintaining a connection, talking to, keeping people up to date on, you know, what you're doing in terms of if you are posting content and things like that, is they see that you're serious about it, and so they take you seriously.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit more. Keeping people up to date with what you're doing. How has it worked for you? Because how does that relationship look like for somebody who hasn't had a sponsorship yet? You know what I mean? So it's not just like, here's one post, hey, or is it? You know, what does that look like? What does the long term look like for a sponsorship?
So actually, this dress was sponsored a year ago when I went to a yacht party, and I'm still wearing it now. So at events like this, so that it could get even more exposure. So they're not asking me to wear this right now. They're not sponsoring me to do so. However, you over-delivering throughout the course of a year, or you continuing to do that, and that has actually brought me not only a special bond with this designer, but it has additionally given me a bucket load of clients from the people that she knows, because she recommends me. And so that's more important to me. It's less about like that partnership per se, but what other partnerships can, you know, go from there.
Who's the dress by? I want to know.
Lala B, L-A-L-L-A-B-E-E.
L-A-B-E, Lala B. Okay, that's why it's yellow. It's buzzing. I love it. Okay.
I told her, I was like, I don't even wear yellow like that, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, but you can rock it. And I was like, okay, I trust you. And I was like, yes.
New favorite dress.
Yes.
And I didn't even tell them what colors to wear today. You see how we all work together? The I Can't Collective. So what about you? What are some of the relationships that you've developed, and how do you maintain those specifically?
So it's funny that you say that, because this dress is actually a collaboration. But I reached out to her, and I actually, like I said, I'm a full-time mom and doctor, and I do a whole bunch of other stuff. And so when I initially spoke with her, we kind of talked about what it would look like to partner, and what, how long, you know, it was going to take to do a post, etc. Well, that timeline was kind of approaching, and I was just busy with life, and so I didn't like flake on it and say, oh well. I reached out to her. I said, you know what, I am so sorry. I wanted to get some content up and get something up with this particular look, but you know, XYZ. So just being transparent, and just like everybody is living life, like everybody has stuff going on. People have, you know, tragedies to triumphs happening on a daily basis, and And people understand that. Like if you stay in touch with people and say, hey, this is what's going on. She was like, no problem. So I told her, I said, well, this is my plan. I said, I have an event coming up in a few weeks. I'll probably be wearing the dress. We'll, you know, take lots of pictures, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, that sounds great. Not a problem. And so she knows that I'm serious. She knows that I'm not just like, okay, well, I just, you know, I got this and she's never going to hear from me again. So just being open, upfront, honest, transparent, and knowing what you can deliver. Like you don't want to ever say you can do like all this knowing like really you can do, and if this is where you are, that's okay, like that's where you're starting from. But if a brand is expecting you to do up here and you can't deliver, then they're gonna be like, well, you know, thanks, you know, but you know, we probably won't work together again. And so you, like she was saying, you want to be able to have people coming back to you regularly and saying, whenever they post, or if I post them, I get lots of engagement, lots of follows, or whatever the case may be. They want you to be that go-to person, and so you want to be able to provide that for them if you can, or just let them know where you are, what you can provide.
Yes, and keeping those communication lines open is huge. How do you communicate? And another thing you said, the larger companies aren't always the ones to go with. Now, if they offer you something and the lines, take it, take it. But when you're reaching out, don't always think, okay, I need to reach out to this huge company, something that has all these commercials on television. Those might not be the people that ride for you. Those smaller companies will continue to show up as much as you're showing up for them. And like you said, you can text somebody and say, hey, I'm doing this. What can we talk about? And some of those larger companies, you gotta dig so far into the company to know who even to reach out to. And we'll talk about that later, reaching out to certain people when you're doing the reaching out versus, because I know before you get to a certain level, it starts off with you reaching out. Then
it stays with you reaching out. There is no point where you just
I was gonna say, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes, with like that flip between reaching out and them coming to you and what that all looks like. And who made that dress, girl? What dress?
It's on Instagram. She's personally she at personally she.
Okay, I'll skip to
So the first thing to answer the first question,
Yes.
Staying in contact with folks. I will send an email. If I have a relationship with you, I'll send an email saying, hey, you got anything coming up? Because most brands every season have a campaign. There's a winter campaign, a spring campaign, especially you're talking about fashion, spring, summer, fall, everybody's got something popping. So, I mean, you have to do a little work and reach out and keep that relationship just like with your friends.
Yes.
You should reach out, say, what's up? Hey, girl, how you doing? Same thing with brands. I mean, it's really no different. So, yeah, they're keeping the lines of communication open, reaching out, and then what was the second thing? Girl,
yeah, that's okay. That's all right, girl. It's the living room. We chilling. So keep the lines of communication. Oh, and the like at that point when you're reaching out versus them reaching out to you, what that looks like. And you say you never so fly that they're always coming and you don't have to reach out. So what is reaching out for a new company? You talking about communication between, you know, people that we have a relationship with, but what about?
So I still reach out to people, and I'll give an example of somebody who's in the room who I reached out to. Shantae from Black Girl Sunscreen.
Oh, you got me. Hey.
Yep.
She'll be in the seat in a little
Yes.
bit.
So it's honestly, I will still, to this day, I probably send out, I'm not even kidding, at least 5 to 10 proposals a week. And it's to companies that I legitimately want to work with. They have, I feel like maybe it's a mutually beneficial type of, you dig, you know, we can make something happen. I think I create pretty good content, and I think I can, you know, help them and they can help me. Shantae, she has Black Girl Sunscreen. I am a huge advocate for skincare, so I love anything skin, and I love supporting Black-owned businesses. If I can, I'm gonna support it. I saw a sponsored ad. I don't even know whose it was. It was a sponsored ad. It was Black Girl Sunscreen. And I was like, say what? I saw that and sent her a DM. And I was like, hey, how can we work together? I would love to work with you. So I say that to say I don't always go into sponsorships to reach out to people because I feel like I want to be out here making tons of money and doing all that. I legitimately reach out because it's somebody I want to work with, and it's something that I can stand behind and I can legitimately talk about to my audience, and it doesn't come off so like not authentic. Like I'm talking about flat tummy tea and I ain't got no flat tummy. Like I mean, like authentic. It does. Like, so that's a prime example. Like, I still reach out to folks and keeping a relationship. I still text Shantae like, hey girl, what's up? How you doing?
Yes.
What's shaking with Black Girl Sunscreen? I mean, that's just, you kind of got to keep that going. It's your responsibility just as well as it is other brands reaching out to you. It's your responsibility to keep those relationships and keep working for yourself. Yeah.
And those relationships are so important, and they build, because that's how I hooked up with her. I didn't know that. She came to me and she said, hey, my friend told me about your event, you know, and we connected. And then that's a connection that will keep on connecting. And that's what I Can Collective is all about. It's putting a name to that thing. But whether you have an organization that you belong to or whatever, those connections remain the same. A year from now, bless you, I will reach out to you guys, and who knows what it may be. If anybody's asking for a blogger that specializes in what you guys specialize in, I know who to come to, and I'll keep doing that and keep pulling people up as I rise. So that's important to me.
Can I answer it? Okay. So how I actually do it is I actually don't reach out anymore because I have optimized my page in order for brands to reach out for me. So basically I know this is counterintuitive and counter what a lot of people say, but I do have my pricing out there. I have exactly what I'm looking for, and if the brand matches me, they will know exactly what the requirements are to get featured on my site, and then therefore I don't have to do all that legwork. Mm-hmm. They're literally reach out to me, they pitch me, and then I'm like, okay, let's see, what's your budget, and then we can negotiate depending on what it is that they have. But that guarantees, instead of saying, oh, let's collaborate, let's not do stuff for free. Let's try to make some money here, right? And so basically, having your pricing out there and knowing that like this is a business, this is not a hobby, then brands will respect you that way and will know, okay, she means business. Let's get down to it.
And you get money in a few different ways, because it's not just brands. Then you have the individuals who can reach out to guest blog, be featured. So talk a little bit about that and why you went that route specifically, because you're a different kind of blogger too versus some of the other lanes of blogging. There's so many types of, we talk about blogging, there's so many ways to do it. So talk about that. What made you go that route?
I think, it's just opportunity. I just wanted to try it out to see if it could potentially work, and I feel like not a lot of people when I first reached out, they were like, really, you want me to pay you to get featured on your new blog? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, no, yes, you're gonna get rejected. Yes, not everyone's gonna value you. Yes, that's all gonna happen. But guess what? It's been a year and a half now, almost 2 years, and it's still going. So if you believe in what it is that you have to offer, you can find the people who are willing to get into that offer, right? In regards to the different ways of blogging, well, actually, let's talk a little bit about, I want to talk about the 3 different ways of partnership, just if you guys don't know how to get a partnership. But one is there are influencer marketing sites, platforms that you can sign up for, so that you don't have to necessarily do the legwork per se, because they are already in contact with the brands, and they will actually already have the campaign set and ready for you. So if you are ready,
just name one.
Like socialnative.com or valuevoice.com. Depending on your niche and depending on what it is that you do, you'll want to choose different platforms. But basically, you sign up for them for free, and then they reach out to the brands, and then they pitch you, and then
matchmaking service.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And then obviously the second one would be, you do the legwork. Those are more, you get paid more because you're working directly with the brand. So that's good because there's not a cut from the middleman. However, especially if you're starting out, actually, if you're very, very first starting out, I would recommend going to Facebook groups. There are influencer groups. Therefore, you don't even have to go through this quote unquote person on the web who's just an email. You actually have their Facebook, and you can reach out to them because they're usually smaller brands, and therefore they're easier to get into as well. And so I would say, number 1, go to Facebook. Number 2, sign up for influencer platforms. And then number 3, once you know what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you've already built up this platform of your resume and your work, then go ahead and pitch actual big brands that you want to work with, if you even want to work with big brands. I worked with Intel for one campaign, and honestly I should have added another 0 on then, but I was like, they asked me, they were like, oh, how much would one tweet, I was like, maybe $10, you know, and I was like, nah, let's go with like another 0, let's go 100. And then they accepted. I was like, really? I should have added like, you know, 2 more, you know, like Snows, you know, I mean, it's Intel, you know what I mean? But I realized after that, like, I mean, they had a very structured campaign of like exactly what they wanted, and I was like, I don't want to talk about artificial intelligence, you know? Like, yeah, sure, I got paid $100, you know, for like 15, you know, it took me like, and when you're calculating how you want to price yourself, you know, think about like, I mean, conception of idea also matters. You know, like how much time are you thinking of concepting this idea into reality and then producing it, and then what kind of tools do you need to produce it? These all go into the calculation of that. So in essence, that was a very, very good one because it took me like 5 minutes to come up with it, and then 1 second to post it, and boom, it's done, right? So, but you have to think about, you know, those things as you're thinking about reaching out to brands as well.
Yes, for any type of business you're doing on your own, think about the amount of time that you're dedicating to it, and thinking about pricing. Let's Michelle Obama, right? When they go low, you go high, right? So, you know, she wasn't talking about sponsorship. She wasn't.
Right.
Right.
That's the universal like catchphrase for everything.
Everything, right? So keep adding those zeros, and if they say no, you know, come back down, just playing. What do you have? I'll take it. So what kinds of information do companies ask you for? Or what do they want you to do? So you talked about a post, you talked about a tweet. What are some examples of what, when you're sponsored, are people asking you, anything? Go ahead, Stan.
Media kit.
Okay.
That's what I've gotten the most, and I was so thrown off the first time I got asked for it from a brand, and it was a large brand, and they're like, hey, we'd love to work with you, can you send us your media kit? If I didn't go to Google so quick, like, media kit. And so, granted, I don't think you need that in the well, I didn't need it in the beginning. I never had a media kit until within the last, when was that? Because first thing I did, as soon as I got that email, I was like, Kiara, you got a media kit? Like, do you know what that is? So, what was that, 6, 7, 8?
Like about 6 months ago.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I would recommend at least you know, number one, know your value. So if it's not in a media kit, the things you need to know is your value, like she was saying. Rates, which is really, really, really hard to establish. I'm not gonna even sugarcoat that. That is not something somebody can just tell you, like, yeah, you should charge $100. You really you have to determine what your rate is. But as far as what brands have asked for, they'll ask for the sun, the moon, and the stars, and offer you $5. So, I mean, it's true. Like, can we get a blog post? I was just telling her, Teeth Whitening Company, can I get a blog post, 4 IG posts, an Instagram, Insta story, a link, a YouTube video? We'll give you $75. You lie?
Oh,
you lie.
How many followers do you have?
20,000.
Okay, so 20,000 followers. So when she posts something like that, what value are they getting? Because we were just talking about, we're sitting on the couch. I look at all of your Instagram and all of your social media all the time. So we know that if you post it, you value it, right? So if she posted and I am a true engaged follower, I'm going to trust what she's saying, and I'm going to go out and buy that, and that's worth way more than $75, especially for somebody who's got 20,000 people at the ready. You know what I mean? Out of the 20,000, even if it's a small percentage, that company's gonna make money. Because I need some teeth whitening right now. If you post it, I'm gonna get it. So that's the thing. So think about that as well when you're setting your rates.
Oh, go ahead.
Another way that you can monetize if they don't offer you upfront is obviously affiliate marketing. So what you do, instead of saying like, oh, I'm requesting $75 upfront, you know, if a brand is kind of nervous about working with you because maybe you don't have stats, maybe you don't know there are partnerships, you would go ahead and say like, okay, how about like let's set up an affiliate partnership, and basically they'll give you a code, and that code will, if that code is put into like, you know, their
promo code
section, right, then you get a cut from that code. And then going back to, you know, the campaigns thing that you were talking about in regards to, you have to almost know what campaigns are running as well. Like for example, for Mother's Day, Mother's Day was coming up, and I was like, I saw this red light therapy kind of I don't know, this device that makes you ageless, and I was like, oh my god, my followers are probably like, you know, I mean, I was intrigued by it. Obviously, I don't know if it was like true or not, but I was intrigued to try it. And so then I reached out to this brand, and they were like, oh yeah, sure, let's be affiliate, because I didn't want to get paid by it because I didn't know if it would work. you know. And so then I tried it and I was like, whoa, okay, this kind of, you know, it's you know, it works, you know. I mean, not in I don't know, you know what I mean?
But you
like
could see
instantly,
that
yes.
it was doing something for
Yes, yes. And so basically I put my affiliate code out there, and within 2 days, I mean, I had made thousands of dollars for them and made a couple hundred for myself. So that is how you can prove to a brand. And then when you set up those partnerships, then that's, I mean, you need qualitative assets, right? You know, you can't just be, oh yeah, I have like this many followers, and like I can, you know, maybe get like this kind of, what is engagement, question mark? You know, like what does that mean? You know, they want to see stats. You're talking to a company, you're talking to a business here, so act like a business yourself.
So it's not like one-stop shop for pricing. You have to think about what value you're giving a company. And it's not always about number of followers. So if you know you have 300 people that ride or die for what you do, then those 300 people might do better than somebody who has 300,000 people, but not a one of them is for real followers. You know, I had companies from Timbuktu, and they're not real. They're just followers that it could have bought, or that, you know, people just follow people when they don't really listen and talk to them, think about what they're saying. But you can look at how people are commenting and what types of things you're saying underneath your posts. And we're talking a lot about Instagram, but what are some other ways that we connect with companies? What are some other valuable sites or ways that a company, you talked a little bit about going out to an event like this, having the dress on, shooting a boomerang, things like that. So what are some other ways that you engage with companies and give them value?
I would say just that. I usually, I've always loved fashion since forever. And so I like wearing fun, fabulous stuff. And so you're literally their walking advertisement. Like you said, you've had this dress for however long and you've worn it several times. You're not getting paid to do so. But just walking and talking and actually living what you're posting that you do. And that's why I think it goes back to, I think it's been brought up several times, like authenticity and making sure that you are connecting with a brand, a company that like actually aligns with your brand, because otherwise it's not going to work. If they told me to wear like a cheese head, I'm not wearing, you know, you might wear it for a post and be like, oh, this is fun, you know, you're at a football game or whatever, but like, am I about to wear that like out multiple times and people stop me and say, well, they may stop me and say, where'd you get that from? So they can go and find out how to get it. But you know, people will stop you. Where's that from? How did you get it? So you can constantly bring back traffic. She also, Elaine also mentioned affiliate links. Some of the brands I work with, they're not necessarily larger brands, but they will give me a discount code for my followers. So my followers know, like, okay, I can come and check out, see, oh, she's probably gonna have a discount code, so that whatever she's wearing is super cute. I can get a discount on it. And then also that, like you said, allows the brand to see, okay, who's entering Dr. King 15, Dr. King 30, or whatever the code happens to be. And that's, you know, that gives you some leverage, like, hey, 30, 40, 50 codes or however many came in for this particular item, you know, and so that can help you leverage when you're even working with other brands, like, you know, this particular item sold out, or this, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so taking your work from what you've done and using that in your media kit to prove, get social proof, and it's proof of what you have done, what you can do, and what you can bring. So I'm just gonna ask.
I would say, like, we've been talking about a lot about social media, but if you don't have a blog, and obviously I'm a blogger, so that's, you know, but if you don't have a blog, your social media means nothing. It's not an asset. Your blog you own, which then is connected to your email address and your email list, which you own. These are the only things that are assets that you can actually monetize that actually makes sense. Why? Because when a company reaches out and they're like, okay, you know, like perhaps they even want to, like, you know, up their SEO rank, right? The only way to do that is through a blog. The only way to get in contact with those followers, again, if your Instagram shuts down, your asset is gone, right? But if you can stay in contact with them, every single time I send a blog post to my followers, I mean, my traffic spikes. Why? Because those are my true followers, right? The ones that actually want to stay engaged with me, you know, in my list. So that's the number one thing, you know, to look out for and to build every single one of your followers on Instagram and social media, everything should be in your email list if you want to monetize them.
Yep.
So that's another point too. So we're talking about blogging, and I chose bloggers because of the, like, you know about SEO. You guys know what that is, SEO and all of that. Okay, you want to talk a little bit more about SEO, but I'll get back to that. Keep that in the back of hand. But you know how to keep your website popping if you have a blog, right? But if you have a website and don't necessarily have a blog, it's all about owning your website and creating an email list where you're offering something to the people who follow you. The people who want to get in touch with you have a way to. Anybody ever get on Instagram that's acting up and you don't see any of your posts and you're like, what's going on? Sometimes one of them is white and it's nothing really there. Okay, so if Instagram were to crash, your business shouldn't, right? Who still has a good poppin' MySpace page? Nobody? Black Planet? Not Black Planet.
A fashion blog, and I was like, this was like 2011. I said, girl, I was like, ain't nobody got time for to blog? Like, I don't have time to be blogging. I'm like going back and forth to the hospital in the middle of the night, and then one of my cousins, like several years later, this was on maternity leave. She was like, I think I'm gonna do like a mommy blog, and I was like, really? She was like, yeah, it can be very lucrative. And I was like, huh. So I started thinking about it. And then I started thinking about it and thinking, okay, well, what was I gonna name it? And then one day I was like, Kiara, start somewhere. Like, it's never gonna go anywhere if you don't start. And so I started, and I kind of found my way because I wasn't exactly sure. And I kind of primarily focus on fashion, but also do wellness and lifestyle. And to just start. Like, if you have the idea, if you have the concept, start somewhere. Otherwise, you'll have a million ideas buried in the graveyard of your mind that never get out. And you know, I tend to be type A, like perfectionist, OCD, and I'm like, I want to make sure it's like this. And sometimes you just have to do it and you don't want to do anything like bad or sloppily, but and just kind of let the chips fall where they may, because otherwise you can remain stagnant if you don't just push yourself and get out there. So for those of you that are like, kind of like, you know, not really sure where to go, just start somewhere. Like, what the worst thing that can happen is you put up a post and it's maybe not the best post, but it's up there, you've done something. So
yes, I would say partnerships even with your friends. Kiara is the home girl, and honestly, she and I work together and we bounce ideas off each other. It's really important to have people around you with similar interests and that kind of vibe and do the same thing you do, because whenever we have a question, we are definitely team too much in so many ways.
Look, we're doing a photo shoot after this thing.
Right out there. But like,
we are. Cameras in the bag.
Just one side note, I promise y'all, question I always get, hey, do you hire a professional to do your photos? People always seem to think people on Instagram be out here like walking around with photographers following them. The only photographer following me is Kiara. Like, literally, this is who I'm doing my photos with. So this is my network. And I mean, I have other people like you need to build a network of friends who are in the same, who got the same vibe as you, because not everybody's gonna believe in you. And not everybody's gonna believe in your blogging. Like my mama, I told her, she was like, you gonna write? I was like, I mean, yeah, but you know, so get your tribe together. That's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hashtag find your tribe.
Yeah.
That's the hashtag. Okay.
I would say what I would leave you guys with is progress over perfection, which is really similar to what you're talking about. But you must fall in love with the progress, because 99% of the time you're going to be progressing, hopefully. Because once I feel like for me, once I stop letting go, once I let go of goals and I start loving, you know, what I was doing, you know, just like, you know, just doing it, you know, that's 99% of the time. So just continue doing it and fall in love with that. Otherwise, once you hit those goals, it's gonna be like this, and you gotta crawl back up, and you're like, oh, I got another goal, and it's instead of like going like this, it'll be like this. It'll make it a lot harder to crawl back up, you know, once you've hit that goal.
Yes, start. People do not start. They will talk about stuff for so long, and you know, it makes me itch. Because I just want people to do it. Because guess what you can do? You can edit. You don't know.
Yes.
Like, you know, if I had this and only one person came, I can go back and say, okay, why would only one person come? What was it? What did I not give to people? But if you have something, if you're selling a widget and a ton of people love the widget, and you know, but they start emailing you and they're like, but you should have made it in red, but you should have had blue. You can, if it's still in here, nobody knows you have that, and you don't know who wants it. And you'll keep editing it, and you'll come out with, you know, a pink one, and nobody wanted that. You know what I mean? And it's like, because we didn't you didn't give us a chance to tell you. So start somewhere, even if it's this small. Start somewhere. Okay, time for questions. Anybody have questions? I think somebody wants to know about SEO. What is that?
Yes, SEO is for search engine optimization. So basically, it's like when you type into Google, right? So whatever, you know, questions you type it in, like for example, fashion 101 or fashion trends for the summer, right? You want to rank for those specific keywords in order for your post to get found. And so the better you optimize your site, the more likely it's going to be found on Google. And on top of that, I would do another thing is get on Pinterest. Pinterest is the visual Google. It is not just a mommy whatever blogger thing that they always say that, you know, or like a mood board. It's a search engine. So like, you know, with your descriptions, making sure that all your keywords are there. And we can talk a little bit more about it later.
And there are free resources on her website, as she stated earlier, that talks about things like this. So, you know, be sure to check that out. Any other questions that people may have about?
So, I work in TV and radio, so I have the same thing where, you know, people can send suits or make custom suits for you, or t-shirts I might wear on a TV show and get those things for free. The problem I often have, though, it's hard to quantify when I'm trying to get new sponsorships what that reach might look like, or trying to communicate what my engagement may be because I only have like 5,500 followers on said platform. So my question is, how do you not only communicate the value of that partnership to brands that you've already worked with? You know, someone gave you a free something and they don't know how many people ask you where can they buy that, or when they go and actually purchase it, they don't know that that came from you. How do you communicate that? Or, and how do you leverage that relationship to go out and get other things, especially speaking specifically toward fashion things like that?
I would say you might be able to, if it's something that you're exchanging product for a post or something like that, you might be able to ask for like a code for your followers, if that makes sense. Because if somebody sees you and they're like, man, that jacket, where'd you get it? And you're like, I got it from so-and-so, use this code. You're gonna be able to go back and say, hey, I've sent several people to your site. Are you able to, like, they may be able to give you that information, so at least you have something you can quantify versus like, I'm trying to think of a way to make it make sense for you versus you not having any idea at all. So that may help in a situation specifically like that when they're just giving you product. But you also said you work in TV and radio, so I'm assuming you may have, if you're wearing something either on air or wherever you work.
Like, you know, shout out to suit out, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty powerful if you have that kind of reach. Yeah, that's like free, you know, it's free marketing for them. So, I mean, depending on how you're setting it up, I can't, you know, tell you how to do it exactly, but at the very least, they can give you something so that you can quantify, or they can quantify for you what you're selling for them.
So how you can quantify for yourself is you can create a short link. You have to be your own best marketer. You can't necessarily depend on brands per se because they're not necessarily going to get back to you, right? So if you go to bit.ly, if you copy that link and you make your own short link and make sure to customize it according to whatever it is that, so that people, if they see it's like 25926, they're like, what is that? I'm not gonna click it, but you customize it according to like, oh, TV shirt, and then you'll know like, okay, this is how many clicks I got. That's quantifiable.
And with Bitly, they tell you how many people clicked on that engagement.
Where they give you all that stuff. Some stuff on the dark web, like they say, like where stuff. They tell you where everything's coming from.
Right.
Yeah, and it'll tell you. So if the company is like, nah, you didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, I got proof. I
Right.
can print it out.
You might not necessarily see the sales that you generated
Right,
per se, but
right.
that's on their end.
Clicks,
But you can
right.
say interactions, and that's
engagement.
And on top of that,
Yes.
if you have Instagram, if you type in Instagram influencer calculator, there is an amazing calculator out there that you can literally just put in your username, and it would generate your engagement score as well as how much dollars you should charge per post.
Social Blue Book does the same as well. Right? Yeah.
What's it called?
Social Blue Book?
Social Blue Book and
And Instagram influencer calculator.
okay.
And I was gonna say, if you have your, if you have a I don't know if you have a blog or a website.
I do.
I don't know if your stats show you the clicks that you.
Yeah, my site busting. Yeah, so I do. I ain't gonna lie, my site busting.
But you can use, like, I can go to any given post, and if I usually I hyperlink whatever it is, address or whatever. So kind of what she's describing, but you can do it on your own website. So you can go and just see like this particular post, and if I hyperlink 3 different things, it'll say 12 clicks on this, 20 clicks on that. So that's another way. I wasn't realizing that's kind of what you're asking, but yeah.
Yes.
So you should be able to see stats on your site.
Yes. The problem, I don't.
And I don't know if you use them, because sometimes you're
That's
not really
what I'm
thinking to
saying.
use
I don't
them.
think about it.
And I didn't think about it. I didn't used to think about it in the beginning, but you should be able to go and literally see. I can see how many times somebody's clicked to a certain, like if it's Target, JCPenney, whatever, or if it's another brand, it'll say however many clicks it is. Yeah.
That's very useful. Thank you.
And your website and where can we find you and all
Find me
that?
at wtpongo.com. Yes, I'm a news anchor reporter for WGN Radio and TV.
Come on now.
We want to be on the bus.
You're on advertising. That's what I said.
Anybody else have questions? Oh, go ahead.
I have a question about contracts. How do you guys secure your, what type of contracts do you guys use to secure your contracts with your clients?
Yeah, are you using a lawyer? Are you developing something on your own that you know is like speaking to what you need and letting them review it and go back and forth with them? How does that work?
I don't have an attorney, so usually when I work with a brand, they're gonna send me. We have reached an agreement. They're gonna
Okay.
send you an agreement.
Right.
You know what the terms are. I'll tell you, I'm the first to change terms. Just about every contract I've ever gotten, I have modified the terms because it really needs to fit what
Right.
I'm trying to
Yep.
do. Like if I'm not trying to do that, we ain't signing it because I don't want nobody coming back later. Like Ebony, you said you were doing X, Y, Z.
You owe
You
us.
gave us B. So like no, like. Yeah, I guess I ain't that big time for no lawyer and all that yet, but like,
So it's probably my lawyer hat being on. You should at some point talk to a lawyer. A lot of lawyers will at least give you a little bit of their time for free and some free resources to at least get you started. And I would say like check in with a lawyer every once in a while. She's a lawyer.
I'm like, girl, drop that info.
Know what you're missing, and there are a lot of gaps, especially with social media. It's very easy, and it's also very difficult to be vigilant because people can put a lot of stuff out there. They can create bots, and they can take your content a lot of times without you knowing. So just without having ways without knowing all of the traps that are out there, it is good to. And I know sometimes JDs cost a lot, so like we do need to be paid, but but it's good to at least have a lawyer friend on deck. Sometimes you can get lots of free service prices. At least, if not in your tribe, like a tangential person that you can call and just ask you a couple questions. Can I buy you dinner? So,
I know,
like
right?
that. It's not too much, but it is good to check in with a lawyer every once in a while.
Okay.
And I've had a lawyer look at one contract and then you can take that and use it as a template.
Yeah.
Go from there.
See, look at you, yeah.
Situationally, you want to
I'll
make
do
sure
that.
that you're taking care of your lawyer, you're paying them, but then you can reapply the lessons that you learned to future and understand some future contracts.
Yeah, so make a template. That's a
Yeah.
good idea. Make a template. Get that consult, that free 30 minutes. Sorry to the lawyers. Free 30-minute consult. You're like, oh, I can use that. Okay, I'll call you next week.
Next week ain't never came.
But then if the lawyer or something goes wrong, you're
Right.
Yeah, you know they're there and they've already seen
Right.
it. So that's a good idea. Good tips. Good exchange of information.
What else y'all got?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right, so what's the next step for you ladies, personally and professionally?
Well,
Well, I am just kind of expanding my brand. I actually have, I don't know if it's gonna end up being a nonprofit, but kind of a passion project that I have coming back, coming up to work on instilling value and self-worth into our young girls. So it's kind of, again, I'm OB-GYN, so I see women all day. And sadly, I see lots of young women that are out here probably thinking they're living their best lives. And it's a whole sad, hot mess. And that's all I can say. And I spend 30, 40 minutes sometimes with these young girls, like, trying to get them to get it. So that's coming up for me. It has nothing really to do with fashion, but it'll get tied in somehow to my my brand. And it was funny because I was telling Ebony, she was like, girl, I didn't know you started this page. I have been thinking about a name, and I thought about it. It came to me last year, and I was like, get the domain name, start something so at least it's there. Like, I know it's out in the atmosphere. So I did that, like, probably it's been like a couple months now, because I've been thinking about it, and I was like, Kiara, just do it, like, just do it. So that's coming up. I don't know exactly how it's gonna be structured, but yeah, we gotta get some of our young ladies back. Yeah. So I know it doesn't really relate to blogging, but that's what's coming up next.
But that's still business, and it's still on brand.
And sidebar, maybe a person who does your work will give you a discount if you do promote them on your site?
You said what?
Maybe the person who does your work will give you a discount if you promote them on your site.
Yeah, that's always a
You can do it for an
possibility.
application.
Yep.
Strategy consultant.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? What's your website? What's your name?
My name is Tanisha. I need to redo my website, but it's under BMMO Consulting, b.m.o.consulting.com.
Perfect.
For me, oh, go ahead.
Oh, girl.
So for me, I've been getting like a lot of the similar questions about like, how did I start a blog? How do you do this? How do you do that? So I'm creating, I know everyone's creating a course, but I am creating a course. This course is going to be like a college course. Like, I literally have everything. Instead of like saying like, oh, this is how you get 100 followers in like 30 days. It's like, no, this is actually how you set the foundation of your blog so that it can be profitable. And it's not just a quick little course. It's going to be like a several month course. So right now I'm halfway through. Hopefully it will launch within a few months, maybe at the end of the year, but it will definitely be available for the new year when people are wanting to get into their, New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. So that's professionally what's happening. Personally, I guess it's kind of connected to the blog as well, but my blog is actually associated with a charity called the Micah Project, which is a home for street kids, which is actually where, why we got associated with them was my husband was actually one of these kids, and he was picked up by this organization, and that's why we help them now. But basically, next would be going to visit them in Christmas, and just seeing them, and that's what's happening.
I gotta think on mine, y'all.
There was one question here. You can ask the question.
I had a question. I wanted to know how would I present myself to, like, say a blogger. Like, I have a tax business and it's seasonal, but I do have to market throughout the year, because like if you do enough marketing, you don't have to sell yourself. So how would I present myself to like a blogger like you guys? Like, I want to get my business in front of your network or your, like, how do I just don't know. I'm not even a social media person. Like, I'm just getting into social media. I'm old school, so I'm not. I go outside and hand cards and so I'm like, how do I even present myself like to you guys? Like, what would I do?
I say shoot your shot via email. I mean, honestly, most people aren't like bogus. Like, people, they will either say yes or no, right? And that's, I mean, I feel like that's even like bloggers reaching out to brands. They either gonna say yes or no. I would say this is a good thing.
Okay.
Get
so what would be
names and
good for you, like with affiliate link or sponsor? Like, what would be something that would make it worth your time?
Can I say something before you got it? When you thinking about her site, that made me think about her, because for them, like they said, if they were to use your tax services, maybe they could promote. But she has the opportunity where you could maybe write a blog about financial services or what you can do, or something that relates to business, and it may cost you sometimes, right? Because you want to, get her followers to come to you, and that would be clients for you.
Right.
So if you were to pay for a post or pay for something that works, a feature, it could be a feature. There are different ways, right? You have different ways. So like, maybe that's a paid thing that you would do, and it's similar to paying for a commercial or some sort of marketing. And then in that way, for people on this end of the table, taxes are a little different, but like if you have a service that you can offer somebody and not say, hey, just post my stuff because I like your following. No, I'm going to gift you this, and if you like it, can you talk about it? So, I don't know who does their taxes or what else to do besides taxes or anything like that, but if it were like a t-shirt, I'd be like, hey, look at my t-shirt, how you like, or something like that. So you want to offer these ladies something that they can benefit from, and they'll have more of a reason to want to post about it, and not just because, you're a nice person, not you. The people do approach people like, hey, you're nice, so I like your stuff. Feature me to all of your millions of people that look at your stuff, and it's like, well, I worked hard to get all these people on my social, But no, that's a really good way to think about it, like what you can offer them to engage their people, and then pairing with people who, there are blogs and influencers out there that deal with financial services, like my Fab Finance and stuff like that. So like getting specific to your niche, targeting your audience. So it's like, if it's a shoe blog and I sell necklaces, we may have some synergy, but maybe I want to start out with a necklace company, somebody who advertises necklaces, and start there.
That's a great point. I love that.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kia. Question for you. So last summer I contacted a shaving company because I'm bald, so I always have to shave my head. And I don't want to say it's a huge brand, but it's up there. We had some exchange of emails, but it never fell through. My question to you is, do you know any small shaving brands?
I do.
As far as like razors or even the actual shaving cream that you can recommend.
One brand I work with, 103 Collection, based out of here in Chicago. They got a bomb face scrub. I use it, and I've created content for them because I actually like their products. Yeah, after we finish this, I can talk to you about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, do you have any other tools or apps open to everyone? Tools or apps as far as like the Social Blue Book or the Instagram calculator that can help you get connected to brands?
Oh, I was gonna say that's what we were talking about. There's so many. I would honestly have to pull out my phone, like Elaine said. There are so many platforms. I do too. On my iPhone, I have like one of my little app squares is like full of platforms. Yeah. So there's tons of them. They're all kind of the same, but then they might be slightly different in terms of how it operates. But there's tons. I can look at it, and I'm sure we probably all could. See
there's like Clever. What's it called? Clever Girl or
Popular Babe. Maverick. I mean,
there's tons of them.
But I think what I found was very interesting was that there's so many, but the opportunities on each are very limited.
Correct.
Which is super annoying.
Which is why I've like limited it down to like 4 platforms. I had like 20. I'm like, y'all ain't even popping. I'm not doing y'all. So
You get so many emails. You're like,
Yeah.
So when you go, because you said there's so many, so when you do type it in the app, like say you go up to the app store on your phone, what do you necessarily type in?
Oh yeah, what do you look for?
No, I go through Google.
What do you look for on Google?
Yeah, do Google. Don't do apps.
Don't go through apps. Literally look up influencer platforms.
Yep, influencer platforms.
It's like a website.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it'll take you to the website, and usually the website will take you, like it'll say, open it in our app. Or
right, because they have apps, but usually they're not that good.
They're not.
And they're not updated, and they're just not worth it.
But the website platform is better than the app of that same company. The website might be like more
because the website is better because you'll get the emails from them. You don't want to be going to their particular site every single day checking for new opportunities. You want those to come to you. Okay. Right?
Correct.
Otherwise, you're going to be frazzled.
Yep.
Okay. One more question. This will be the last. Oh, there's 3 questions. Okay. 3 more questions. Okay.
So my question is about conversion and followers. I have my personal page through Facebook, then my business page on Facebook, and my business page on Instagram. So the problem I'm having right now is Instagram, for instance, the people I follow, right? I'm purposely trying to get them to follow me back, but they're not following me back. Right. So how can I build my followers on Instagram and Facebook? Because I find on Facebook it's a lot of, so my business is accessories, lashes, and sunglasses. But on Facebook I'm friends with a lot of makeup artists, which they use eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
But, so how do I get that exposure and those followers? And then conversion is my second issue, where I turn lookers into buyers.
Engage. Honestly, I mean, I'm a chatterbox all looking through my social media. I am. Like, if you follow me, you probably talk to me. Like, if you engage with me, we gonna have a whole conversation. Like, so I feel like engagement is big. Like, I don't expect people to come like my post, comment on it, and I'm like, thanks, girl, and I move on to the sunset. Like, nah, we gonna talk. Like, how you doing? What's up? I mean, so I feel like engagement in life works. As far as conversion, people just like what they like. And you almost can't force somebody to like it, but I feel like people are more prone to want to, you know, see what you're doing when you're actually engaging with them and you're talking to them, and you know, you spend a little more time.
What do you do to get people to your page now? Like, do you ever offer giveaways or anything like that people can say like, ooh, you know, because I find that giveaways are very helpful for gaining followers, whether it's me partnering with someone, we're giving away either like a product, gift card, whatever it is, and that allows you, and you can structure the giveaway so that you can try and get as many followers as you can, but that may be a way if you're saying you're trying to get more people to come see, because no one's gonna see what they don't know about. Like, but if I tag Ebony and I tag Elaine, they're gonna be more likely to say, well, let me click on her name and see what this is about, versus they've never heard of you just magically finding you somehow using appropriate hashtags. I mean, you hear that all the time. But yeah, I think those two things can be helpful, but people aren't going to know about your page unless they find out about your page. So how are they finding out? So you use the people that are already following you to help you do that. I mean, you know, that's one small thing that you can do.
I think that you're trying to run two campaigns at once. You're trying to get followers, that's brand awareness, and you're also trying to get conversion, that's sales. That's completely separate. I would say, don't worry about your followers. Focus on your conversions. If you want to, once you have conversions and once you have people trying to buy your stuff, they will generate that user-generated content for you. Now, if one person that reached out, or I think that was a very effective way of doing it, is actually they, on their site, they said, become my affiliate. And then you say, you can like reach out to influencers and be like, hey, you know, want to check out my product? I'll give it to you for, you know, 50, maybe let's say 90% off. And then you're like, oh my God, that's an amazing deal. And then for your followers, you know, then you can also have like an affiliate code. So you're giving it to them dirt cheap. You're still making a little income, maybe let's say 70, okay? Maybe a little bit more, you know, but like you're giving it to them dirt cheap so they feel like, oh, like it's an ego thing, right? They're like, oh, you think I'm an influencer? Oh, cool, yeah, I'll get your stuff and I'll promote for you. Boom, you got followers already.
Yep.
So I'm hearing giveaways and discounts pretty much is what you're saying. And
discounts with affiliate codes.
okay.
Because you want to track how well they promote for you as well. Because now you're the brand. You want to see which one is doing the best for you, and then you want to maybe incentivize them even more.
I'm kind of hard on myself too. I just launched my website at the end of the year. So I expect to have like ample crowd. So, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I did hear you mention that when someone first mentioned to you about starting a blog in 2011, you was like, I don't have time for that. So how did you start making time while working such a...
So I was off me personally, I was off for a little while. Okay. So I was, that's a whole nother crazy story. But I ended up being off work for like 2 years. So in that, it was a little less than 2 years, like 23 months. In that time, I was like, I have some free time. I've never had this amount of free time ever in my entire life. Like, I've always either been in school, in residency, working a zillion hours. And so I took the passions I had and just like, and like I said, I started somewhere after perseverating on like names and ideas and stuff for a while. So I just started. Now that I'm actually back working, I make time for it. And another thing I do, I a lot of times will blog about like what I'm doing so that it doesn't seem so like hard to do. Like, it's not like, okay, let me blog about how to put together a computer, or like something like completely random that has nothing to do. Like, I may blog about this event today, and like, okay, well, what did I wear? And like, okay, where you can get the dress, and what was the event about? So it's something easy, like it comes easy to me. So, I mean, I say, especially when you don't have anything up and running, just start somewhere. Like, you have to start somewhere. And I think it's important for me, all that time allowed me to gain consistent content. So I was able to consistently post, and brands can come back and see that you've posted about fashion. I have like health topics and, you know, talking about, is it cancer and stuff on my blog. So people can come and see all that I've built. So just start somewhere, and don't be too hard on yourself. Don't feel like, okay, I have to post a blog every day. You may say, okay, well, my goal, let me post a blog a week, a blog a month, or whatever makes sense for you and your lifestyle right now in terms of just getting started. Like, some of the stuff we're talking about, you might be like, monetizing, branding, like, wait, what am I supposed to do? And that's okay. Like, everybody has to start somewhere. So I just say start and carve out time that you think makes sense for you, that won't impact the rest of, you know, whatever your normal daily life is, but start somewhere.
About what?
Finance.
Oh, finances. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That is a really lucrative topic. Everyone's always talking about that, right? But just like, you know, your 5 points, you know, your daily points, you know, whatever it is, and then relate that to a story form, because Instagram is all about stories. So you can do a photo of you, maybe like you and your finance, and then like your 5 points, and then after you be consistent with that, then you can translate that into your blog posts and then flesh them out a little bit more. And then you already have content.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then connecting with people who are in your same lane, so then you have a collaboration. So if I can't blog that day, maybe a guest blogger could come on and talk about something similar to what I would talk about.
Sure.
Any more questions?
I have one. And this may have been answered, and I just didn't hear it. Where could we go to actually get a template so we can know how to start a contract to give to someone for sponsorship? Because this is really good information, but if we want to know, like, how do we start with actual documents to send, where would we go to do that?
Well, the brand might be sending you, like Ebony was saying, they will likely be sending you a contract or an agreement of some sort. Yeah, but then, like she was saying, you know, you may want to have a lawyer review it or what have you, and obviously you would review it yourself. But usually they're going to be sending you some type of agreement.
And if you're talking about like how you're going to, like, a media kit kind of serves as, it's not a contract, but it serves as a representation of you. It's about you. It's about it should include with your analytics, low, you know, high level, this many followers, this type of engagement, whatever, and your rates. I know she was saying you shouldn't talk about rates. Oh, I give my rates. I'll tell them in a heartbeat. Like, this is what it is, because I think at this point, I've learned that I kind of have to set that tone. So yeah, your media kit is kind of like it ain't a contract, but it's a representation of you.
So you send out what you can do. They send back what they want, and then you come to an agreement.
Yeah, you come to your agreement. Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to go and like draft some like lengthy 12-page document, like the foresigned for, I don't know, all that all the legalese that she probably knows about. But
once they send you what they give you, then you find out, because if you lead with a contract, you're not even sure that they're partnering with you yet.
Right.
Yes.
So
Correct.
you lead with your media kit.
Yes.
They'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah. Either they're gonna work with you or they ain't, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask one last thing?
Yeah.
So with Instagram, can you repeat things, or is that like the worst?
Girl, yeah.
Okay.
you mean repeat content? And a very
My website, honey, I done posted that. I'm gonna keep posting it because, like she said, Instagram is not mine. My website is mine. And I just recently, this necklace will not let me be great. I just recently had my website built. I work with a web designer who is amazing. And because I have that, and because she stresses so much, like, you need to have your own thing, I will post, if you follow me, you're gonna see that same post like every 2 weeks. Hey, don't subscribe to my newsletter. You get a free ebook. Subscribe to my newsletter. Yeah, you can, but you ain't trying to post it every day. But you know,
But that's on Instagram. You say subscribe to my newsletter.
it's
You could create a post.
yeah, create a post. I create this graphic where my website is scrolling on a computer screen, and at the top it says, "Have you subscribed to my newsletter?"
Okay.
And I posted it maybe 3 weeks ago. I posted it again yesterday. In 3 weeks, you're gonna see that bad boy again. You're gonna keep seeing it, like, because
Yeah.
I need to get people off of that platform. I
Yeah.
want you to come to what's mine too, you know.
Do you use a calendar, a social media calendar, or are you just organic? Like how you feel?
Girl, so many, I mean, there's like apps.
So many ways.
I mean, Unum, right? Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
Unum.
You can use to like
Planoly,
plan
plan
your
out your
feed.
feed.
No, I don't. I have a dummy IG account.
Okay.
So I can see exactly what it looks like. So I know what, I got 10 days worth of posts already set in that account. So then I'll just move them over unless I have something going on like today where I might switch up the post and post what we did today. But yeah,
Actually, something that I figured out was that do you know that there's a drafts folder?
Yeah, on Instagram.
So that
Yes.
I use that actually as like the feed, so that you don't have to transfer it from another account. So you can just put it in the
I
drafts
didn't know
folder.
how many you could have in there.
You can have a
lot.
whole ton.
But I think though,
That's
in
how I
terms
do
of the visual, I use Unum just to see, so you can switch around. You can see exactly how it's planned out, how this post is going to look next to another
Yeah.
post. But you could save a bunch of drafts.
Yeah.
And I think like
that.
the problem I feel for me with schedulers is that, I mean, first off you gotta pay for them, but second off it's you can't tag people and you can't geotag and can't do
Right.
anything.
Which is why I
so,
don't use them.
Exactly. And so they
Actually,
are
this
a
is
more of a hassle to use to me, you know, versus like if you put it in your drafts folder, you tag everything, you have everything set, all you gotta do is press post when you're ready.
You use your drafts if you sign on a different phone number. So if you ever have a new phone, make sure your drafts backed up somewhere. So transition phones and all stuff like that.
Oh.
There's one called Planoly, Planoly.
That's what I mentioned, Planoly.
Yeah. And you can set them up, and if you don't want to automatic post, you can schedule it, and the phone will remind you it's time to post it. You press the button, and you can post, and then from there, you still have
Go
to
back and through.
copy and paste the phone automatically will copy it, and then you have to paste it and tag your people and whatever you want to do and all of that. But it does make it easier. So it's kind of like the dummy account draft, so at least you can visualize what it looks like if you want your social to tell a story.
Right.
Yes. Okay, I want us to move forward and take a quick little break so people can hit the bathroom and get some water, get drinks, get more food, whatever you like to do. I want to thank these ladies. This was so awesome. And so valuable. So your expertise is very much appreciated. And thank you so much for participating. You shared a lot. And I loved it. So thank you so much.
Oh, and their social media handles.
Yeah. Follow.
I'm LadyBossBlogger on everything, as well as my personal is Elaine Rau, ELAINERAU, on everything as well.
That was so fast.
Oh, sorry. It's LadyBossBlogger on all the different channels, and then it's Elaine Rau is my personal. That's my IG, and other stuff as well.
Elaine Rau.
Sorry, RAU.
Oh,
Rau.
And I'm at Dr. Kiara King on pretty much everything. So DrKiarraKing.
And I'm Brown Skin Beautiful. On Instagram, just add an underscore at the end. So.
Brown Skin Beautiful, Dr. Kiara King, and Elaine Rau, the LadyBossBlogger. Thank you once again for participating, and it was so awesome having you guys. And welcome to the I Can Collective.